All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the hidden engine of change. You know, that secret force that makes some things go from zero to, well, everywhere, almost overnight. We're going to be talking all about critical mass. I mean, you've got to wonder, right? Why is it that some ideas, some products, some movements, they just explode onto the scene? And then others, things that seem just as good, maybe even better, they just fizzle out and vanish. What's the deal? Just think about some of these classic showdowns. Facebook absolutely demolished MySpace. The iPhone took over the world, while something like Google Glass kind of stumbled out of the gate. And get this, Wikipedia, built by a bunch of volunteers, totally overshadowed its predecessor, Nupedia, which was written by experts. So it's clearly not always about being first, and it's not even always about being the best. There's something else going on under the surface. And this quote from Shane Parrish really hits the nail on the head. He says, "The straw that breaks the camel's back is identical to every other straw. The difference is in the accumulation that preceded it." Think about that. The big, dramatic event we all see, that's not the real cause. It's just the final consequence. All the important stuff, all the real work, happened before that tipping point. And that right there leads us straight to our core idea for today, critical mass. The simplest way to think about it is like a threshold. It's that magic number, that minimum amount of, well, anything, people, money, effort, you name it, that you need to kick off a change that then starts to run all by itself. You know, it's the difference between pushing a giant boulder uphill and finally getting it to the crust where it starts rolling down the other side on its own. And what's really cool is where this idea comes from. It's actually borrowed from nuclear physics, which, believe it or not, gives us the perfect way to picture it. In physics, critical mass is the absolute minimum amount of material you need to start a self-sustaining nuclear chain reaction. If you're below that mass, the reaction just peters out. But if you're above it, well, boom, it feeds itself. We can even put some math to this with something called the K factor. It's actually a pretty simple test. So if your K value is less than 1, it means each event isn't even creating one new event to replace it. The system is subcritical and the whole thing just dies out. But if K is greater than 1, you've gone supercritical. And that's it. That's the explosive, self-reinforcing growth we've been talking about. And right there at K equals 1, that's the sweet spot, a really fragile balance where things could tip either way. Okay, so nuclear physics is cool and all, but how does this actually apply to people, to social change? Let me ask you this. For an idea to really catch fire in a crowd, what do you think matters more? Is it what the average person thinks, or is there something else at play? Well, here's where things get really fascinating, because this model from sociologist Mark Granovetter basically reveals the secret. So check out crowd A and crowd B. On the surface, they look almost identical. Their average opinions are basically the same. But look closely at crowd B. There is one tiny, tiny gap. See that? There's no one with a threshold of exactly 49. And just because of that single little missing link, the whole cascade, the riot, in this model, it just stops dead in its tracks. And that is the absolute key takeaway. It's not the average opinion of the crowd that matters at all. It's the distribution. It's about the spread of those individual thresholds. You have to have a complete, unbroken chain of people ready to jump in, one after the other. One missing link, one gap in that chain, and the whole thing can fall apart. All right, so if that's how it works, can you actually design for it? Can you engineer a tipping point? And the answer is a big yes. This isn't just some abstract theory for academics. It's a real principle you can build into the world around us, either to create a cascade or to stop one from happening. Let's look at city planning, for example. You've got Copenhagen's Stroget on one hand. It's basically a giant engine for human interaction. They mix shops, homes, and offices all together. They use short blocks. The result is this constant, vibrant street life. It is literally designed to create critical mass. Then you have Brasilia. It was designed with these super rigid, separate zones for everything. One for work, one for home, one for government. The result? Huge, empty streets that feel hostile to people. It's designed against critical mass. But here's the thing. This incredibly powerful force, it isn't always a good thing. The exact same mechanism that can create this runaway explosive success can also be used in reverse to trigger a total catastrophic collapse. We all know what a virtuous cycle is, right? It's that positive feedback loop where growth just keeps feeding on itself. Well, a death spiral is the exact same idea, just going down. Each person that leaves the system makes it a little less valuable for everyone who stays. And that, of course, causes more people to leave. the whole process of losing people becomes self-reinforcing. And once you know what to look for, you start seeing these death spirals everywhere. Think about it. Insurance markets can collapse when all the healthy people decide it's not worth it and leave, which makes premiums skyrocket for everyone else. Or in a company, a brain drain starts when your top performers quit. That puts more work on everybody else, which, you guessed it, pushes more top performers out the door. And then there's the classic example, a bank run. The fear that the bank might collapse is the very thing that causes it to collapse. So how can you spot one of these before it's too late? Well, there are a few key warning signs. First, the rate of people leaving starts to speed up. And this is crucial. It's often the best people, the most valuable members, who are the first to go. At the same time, you'll see fewer and fewer new people coming in. And finally, that shared story, that mission that used to hold the whole thing together, it starts to lose its power. Okay, let's bring this all home. We've gone through a lot here, but what I really want you to walk away with is a new way of seeing things. Think of it like a new analytical lens, a toolkit you can use to spot these invisible forces that shape our world. Here it is, your 3-step critical mass test. Super simple. Step 1, find the threshold. Pinpoint that exact moment where a change can start sustaining itself. Step 2, analyze the distribution. Remember, forget the average. Look for the gaps in the chain of individual thresholds. And step 3, check the K factor. Is each action creating more than one new action in its wake? Is it actually self-reinforcing? And this isn't just some high-level academic stuff. Seriously, you can use this lens to analyze just about everything. Viral trends, social movements, why that one product suddenly took off, or why that online community you used to love is now a total ghost town. It explains so much. So, I'll leave you with this one final question to chew on. Now that you have this tool, this new lens, start looking around. What in your world, in your job, in your neighborhood, maybe even in the news you're reading, what is sitting right there on the very edge, just about to tip?